What is up, everyone? Brian, wannabe car mech. So, I'm going to do some transaxle oil change today. And if you watched the other video of the oil change, I kind of condemned myself and said that I haven't changed this in since I own the car, which I've owned this for, I think I've had it about 100,000 miles and about 5 years, something like that. Or I put 100,000 miles on the car. Well, here I got the Haynes book, and I'm feeling kind of bad because this thing says, or recommends, which I'm kind of feeling about this, because if it was an automatic transmission, I would, think, okay, I mean, that's reasonable. It says every 30,000 miles or 24 months is the recommended change time. 30,000 miles or 24 months. So I'm feeling kind of guilty. So we're going to see what it looks like. If it comes out and it looks like black sludge or something, then I'll feel real guilty. But I have a feeling that gear oil lasts a long time. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take the car for a drive, get the temperature up. That way it's like a 90 weight gear oil or something. I'll have to look at the bottle again. But we're going to get that changed, and I'm going to take it for a ride, warm it up, and then we'll get that changed. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to take this thing for a ride to get it warm. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait till the engine temperature gets up. And once the engine temperature is up, in my opinion, I think it's probably sufficient enough for the transmission fluid. Will probably be up to a decent temperature, but it'll drain at a good rate. But we're back, so let's get this thing into my garage and we will go ahead and drain the oil. Alright, seems like we've been here before, right? We're going to go ahead and pump this thing up. This time I'm going to put jack stands under it because in order to properly fill the manual transmission, the book calls it a transaxle, but we'll stick with manual transmission. The car has to be level because it's basically a fill hole and then a drain. So if you have the transmission cocked up, it's going to fill higher than what it needs to be. So I'm going to jack the front up, put jack stands under, and then jack the back up. And we'll see if I can get it somewhat level. I should be able to get it level. I'm just basically jacking it so I can have some workspace. It's a lot easier with gloves. My wife was making fun of me because I didn't take the little tag off. And I told her that's just guys. But it's off now, so when mom's happy, everybody's happy, right? And then obviously when you do this, you want to make sure your emergency brake is on, because it is a front-wheel drive car. So when I get these wheels off the ground, even though it might be in gear, if the wheels actually do come off the ground, they may not even come off. Alright, as you can see, I'm sweating pretty bad. And I did a lot more work than needed. I was trying to get one of these under the car, as you saw. It just wasn't working out, so I just don't have the equipment to get the whole car up and level. So I kind of came up with plan B, was just to jack the car up in the front, drain the oil, and let it back down, because I think I can drain, or I can fill the oil from under the hood from the top side. But I don't have a floor jack, and it's going to be a lot of work, and I kind of came up with plan B, and it seems like it's a no-brainer. We'll see how it works out, but I'm going to drain it with it jacked up. And then I'm going to let it back down and then drain, or fill from the top side, under the hood. But I'll have to use a little hose to go into the side of the transmission. And I'll show you that, of course, but let's try that and see what happens. Alright, commence with plan B. And I wish I would have thought of this earlier, because I would have saved myself a lot of headache. But that's the way things go. Jacking the car here is so much lighter than trying to jack the whole side of the car. Okay, got the car jack finally. This is the drain plug, and it looks like I got some oil, engine oil leaking down around this area, which will be in for another day. I'm pretty sure I know where that's coming from because the valve cover gaskets on these cars are notorious for leaking, and that'll be another video. But for right now, I'm just going to put my drain pan under, take this plug out, and we'll get to see what the oil looks like. I'm kind of curious, hopefully. Alright, note to self, when I'm trying to film some of these videos, I should probably charge my batteries for my camera, because I was in the middle of that and bam, it's dead. Anyway, I got the drain pan. You can see here. I'm going to throw that under, grab my socket, ratchet, which this is a 15/16. This actually might be metric, but once you get up into these larger sizes, it doesn't really matter that much. 1 millimeter or half a millimeter, whatever the size difference is, it's not going to make a huge deal. So I'm just going to pop this off. And once again, I need to get my latex gloves so I don't get that cancer-causing stuff on me. Alright, I got that broke loose. Got my glove. So, moment of truth here. I'm going to guess this oil's not going to look too bad. Hopefully. I'm going to feel real guilty. Now I'm thinking I just heard it kind of gurgle. So I'm thinking maybe I should have took the top plug out first. Yeah, you can see how it's kind of just gurgling. But it'll drain nonetheless. It actually doesn't look too bad. It looks a little bit burnt, but not bad at all. So we'll let that drain, and then I'll put the plug back in. In the meantime, I'm going to try to find my hose to fill it from the top. If not, I'm going to have to take the skirting down. And then, hopefully, I won't have to do this, but I'll take the skirting down and maybe jack the car up. Level, front and rear. Which I don't want to do, so we're going to try it the other way first. Okay, we got the oil draining out of the bottom right now, and now I am going to try and take the filler plug out. Same size, and this is it right here. It's pretty tight in here, so I'm wondering if I'm going to have enough room to try to break the torque. We'll see. I think I do. And maybe not. Let me try it from this angle. Wow. Okay, that's broken. Not broken. It broke free. So I'm just going to try to unscrew that with my fingers. Sorry for the hairy arm shot. Well, this is the plug. And it's got like a little, it looks like a crush gasket. I'm not real familiar with this style crush gasket, but that's what it looks like. And it's probably recommended that you change these, but I don't have one. And it doesn't look too bad. At least it doesn't look cracked or worn or big gouges or a big groove from it sitting against the transmission. So I'm going to go ahead and reuse this. Which, if it doesn't leak, it doesn't leak. No sweat. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do, I have a piece of just, black rubber hose. It says hot on it, so I'm guessing this might be like I'm thinking this is a hot water line from a washing machine. I just cut the ends off of it. I had it laying around. But what I'm going to do, I got my gear oil, I'm going to run one side down into my transmission, and then I'm just going to do one of these numbers to fill it up. And I think that's going to be the easiest way. And then I'm just going to keep filling until it runs out of that top fill plug. Same thing with this plug. It's got a little crush gasket on it. And it doesn't look completely gooned. So I'm going to run this back in. And there wasn't a torque spec in the Haynes manual for these. So I'm going to just get it good and snug.
I don't think you got to get crazy with this thing because it does have that crush washer on there. And this is a 1/2-inch drive ratchet, so I can get some pretty good leverage. So that should be good. About snug and a 1/4 turn. Alright, I got my black hose. I couldn't find a better one. But now I got to get this thing in the hole, which could prove to be quite difficult. Since this thing doesn't really take shape very well, you may have to come up with like the plan B or something, or plan C. That's what it's all about. Figuring this stuff out as you go. Take your time. Let's try from over here. There's no rush. I'm coming to see that this hose barely fits in the hole, which I have it. It's actually good because it's kind of holding the hose. The threads are holding the hose into the transmission. So we're going to go with that. I did blow this hose out to get whatever loose mineral deposits were in there out. So we're going to put a couple quarts in. Now the manual said it took 2.7 quarts. But the parts store said it takes 2 quarts. So we'll see what happens. The only problem with doing it this way, the way this hose is completely filling the hole, is I won't know when the transmission is full until I pull that hose out. So let's go ahead and fill and see what we can do.
Alright, quart number 1. Now I'm basically squeezing this down in. And another issue I may have, I can't get this thing cinched down on the hose too tight because I need to let the transmission breathe, so to speak. I'm going to let it breathe every once in a while. You hear the thunder in the background? It's summertime and it's the afternoon. It's going to be thundering and lightning in Florida. That's just the way of life down here. If anybody's from here, they'll know about 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the summertime, you're going to have pretty big thunderstorms. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 quarts in it and then check it, because you can't overfill these, because as soon as I pull that hose out, if it is over the fill mark, it's just going to run out in the drain pan, and you let it run out until it stabilizes, then you put the plug back in. Alright, here goes quart number 2. This time I got a rag because I did spill a little bit. And I'm not using anything crazy, just the generic brand Advanced Auto Parts 75 W90 synthetic gear oil. That's what it called for, so that's what I'm using. Quart number 2, empty. Okay, let's we're going 2 quarts into it, so let's pull this hose and see what we got. And as far as I can tell, I do not see any oil running out of the fill plug. So what I have to do is I got to take my butt back to the parts store to buy another quart. See you in a bit. Alright everyone, I'm back. I bet you're wondering how I got back in a half a second. But I'm Flash Gordon, I guess. But I got the 3rd quart. The book said it takes capacity is 2.7 quarts. So I'm just going to put this whole thing in. It's you know, if I overfill it, most of it will be 0.3 if the book is correct. Obviously the parts store was wrong. Okay, 3rd quart installed. Let's pull this hose out and hopefully we'll get something running out of here. And we do. More than I hoped for. But we're just going to let that stable off. It's not a huge deal. A lot more than I thought it was going to be. So that's going to run out until it stabilizes at the level of the bottom of that fill hole. And when that happens, I'll put the plug in, kind of clean that area back up, and this job will be complete. Alright guys, it looks like that is
has finished draining. So I'm just going to wipe it. I'm going to wipe that with a rag, and we're going to put the plug back in. Same thing with this one as far as torque goes. I got it hand tight, obviously. I'm just going to put my ratchet on and just give it a quick snug. Nothing super duper or anything. You can actually, feel when that gasket's good and seated. Anytime you use a crush gasket like this. And if I have some brake cleaner, I'm going to try to clean that paneling off a little bit. Alright, got it torqued, got it clean. And really the main reason I wanted to clean that, because I'm going to check it here in a day or two. And just kind of give it an eyeball and make sure it's not dripping or leaking or anything like that. So, we are done with this job, so let's close out the video.
Alright everyone, we have completed the manual transmission gear oil change. Went pretty simple, other than the whole jack stand fiasco. But I learned a few things. I've never done it before, so it's first for me. A couple questions I did have is, I use the generic brand gear oil. What do you guys think about that? Would you have went with with a name brand? I looked this up on the internet, and it was bottled by Unilube, I think. I'm not sure if it's on the label, but anyway, this was a parts store brand. Personally, I don't think there's much difference. I think it'll do my transmission well. Can't hurt. I mean, that oil had 100,000 miles on it, and it actually didn't look too bad, so I was kind of surprised. Another question I actually had for you guys. My opinion is, I'd rather do this stuff by myself, or for myself, because I would be curious to see what that would cost if I took that to a mechanic shop or an automobile maintenance shop and got that done. I would be willing to bet that that's $100, $150, even though it's only a couple plugs and a few quarts of gear oil, which this was about 10 bucks a piece. So 30 bucks in gear oil, I'd say probably an hour in labor. You're looking at 100 bucks. So I saved myself 70 bucks, I think. Do you think that's worth it? I think it's worth it. If you haven't, please subscribe, like the video if you can, if you enjoyed it, if you think it helped you, and then answer the questions down in the comments below. Would you use generic gear oil, and do you think doing this job saved me any money? Till next time, don't have anything really lined up at the moment. I have a air conditioning temperature problem in my Ranger. I might give that a shot. But we'll see you on the next one. Take care. So I'm sitting here trying to film this video. This crazy dog wants his ball. So I'm going to give him his ball. Go get it. Go get it. Grab it. Get back. Back. He likes chasing if it's on the ground. I guess it's simulating prey almost. It's the only thing I can figure. Where the heck is he going? Well, I'm coming up the temperature. I'll show you. I just dropped the camera on my floorboard.